Welcome to Lawndale High School, and the Pioneer League action tonight will feature the Torrance Tartars with a record of 4-4 overall and 2-1. That's good enough for second place in the league, and they are here to face the Lawndale Cardinals, who are 3-5 and 0-3 in the league. And before we go over anything, let's go over to Rashawn Haylock.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Obviously, Lawndale tonight going up against Torrance, and that vaunted double wing T offense is something that you don't see every day. I was talking to head coach Rick Mathieson before the game, and he said, getting ready for these Tartars this week in preparation as a defense, you throw everything out of the window that you've been working on throughout the season. So much emphasis and focus is going to be put on this running game and stopping the running game, and at the utmost importance tonight for the Cardinals is tackling. It goes back to the fundamentals. You have to tackle, otherwise what would normally be 2 or 3 yard runs end up being 60 or 70 yard runs in 6 points. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn. Just to let the truck know, we have no picture on our monitor here, so we won't be able to see replays. All right, so Rufus, we talked to head coach Rock Hollis in his 22nd year. Quite an impressive record, and a leader of young men as well. And you have Rick Mathieson over on the Cardinals bench, who is in his first year as a head coach. So that's got to be a big game for him.
Absolutely. Classic teacher and pupil situation, as you mentioned, Rock Hollis with the many, 2 decades plus experience here in the South Bay at one school at that, at South. And, of course, Coach Mathieson in his first year here at Lawndale, but experience in the South Bay himself, having had a couple of years over at Hawthorne. He understands what the challenge is tonight. Talking about Coach Mathieson on the other side of the ball, Coach Hollis's team, they're playing for a playoff position. Don't have it quite locked up yet, but a win tonight would go a long way toward securing, at a minimum, an at-large bid for them. For Lawndale, for the Cardinals, it's a pride game, not to mention the fact that it's homecoming. So they've got their own incentive. They've got extra fans here tonight. There's going to be a lot of pageantry, and anytime you have homecoming, that's just a little bit extra, and that might get them over the hump. I'll say it now before we get started. I've got Lawndale as a pick-em in this game.
All right. Kickoff by the Tartars, and is picked up by Michael Watkins.
And he fumbles.
The big man, and now the ball is put on the ground, as Rufus said. Tartars say they have it. Ken Smotrese, our referee, will determine who has the ball.
No signal yet, and now that's good.
Cardinal ball. So a break for the Cardinals, and Rufus's pick stands up. So the Cardinals will go out first. And
what are you saying? It could have been gone out the window just that quickly?
I tell you.
In the first 9 seconds?
Especially with the moon, almost a full moon overhead. Anthony Chapman will be the quarterback. Watkins will be at one running back position and out of the spread offense. And there you see the ball coming loose, as the ball was hit by Tommy Nash, one of the kickers on this team. We're going to get a look at number 30, Andrew Irvine. And right now there's an injured player on the ground as well for, I believe it's the Cardinals. And it's one of the running backs, Adonis Johnson, who is going to fill in at running back because Timothy Jones and William Self are injured tonight. So why don't we take a timeout, and we will come back with the first set of downs on CityTV. And we're back at Lawndale High School homecoming. Man in motion as Chapman hands the ball off to Watkins, runs into a huge wall of gray and maroon, and maybe back to the line of scrimmage for Watkins. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
If he was lucky, back to the line of scrimmage. Of course, Michael Watkins, a multi-year player in this offense, and really slow start to the season, as we saw in the first couple of games, but it started to pick it up lately, coming off the big year last year and rounding into form this season. Of course, we are 2 games out. This and one more will conclude the season, but Michael Watkins doing well.
We're going to keep an eye on the left side linebacker of the Tartars. He's a sophomore, Andrew Irvine. As Chapman swings it out, it's caught, and that is complete over to Tyler Young, and Tyler Young makes a good effort and close to a first down, Rufus. I believe it's going to be a little bit short, so it's going to be about 3rd and less than a yard.
Nice control drive for the Cardinals at this point. Once again, you see on the replay here, nice little swing pass out in the flat, and good movement by Tyler Young to avoid the first tackler, brought down about 2 yards short of the first down.
Spread offense for the Cardinals going against the 4-3 defense of the Tartars. Handoff was slow to develop, and Watkins is tackled in the backfield. That's going to be a loss. Jake Watanabe, the middle linebacker that Rock Hollis really likes, makes the tackle. So it's going to be 4th down and 4 after the 3-yard loss.
You would think a punting situation right now for the Cardinals. No need to put yourself in a hole this early in the ball game.
So back to punt is Alex Alcaraz. And receiving it is going to be Jonathan Hurd, who will get the bulk of the carries in this double wing T formation for the Tartars. And now we have a whistle.
Most likely a delay of game, and that's the indication from the referee, Ken Smotris. Gives us a chance. There you see Ken on your screen, all of it. Gives us a chance to set the officiating crew for you. Ken Smotris is the ref, the head linesman, Nate Sterling, line judge, Clint Fernicola, the back judge, Steve O. Smotris, young Mr. Smotris, and the umpire, Phil Jinks.
Nice kick by Alcaraz, and look out.
That
the ball did touch Hurd, I do believe, but it's picked up on a smart play by David Arrows and out of bounds inside of Cardinal territory. But like you said, Rufus, starting off, that did bounce off a Hurd.
It certainly did. An alert play by his partner back there in the backfield with him. There you see on it that it touches Hurd's leg. Picked up by number 34 for just Torrance. That's David Arrows, as you said. And he gets him out into Cardinal territory.
There's the familiar old double wing formation. Kamala, the quarterback, handing the ball off to number 3, Kamal Miller. Miller runs around, and now there's a penalty flag on the play as the ball is going to be marked just before the 35-yard line. So we'll see what the penalty is.
That's a running back, Miller, with the play. Kamal Miller, as Lou said, he's their number 2 rusher. May as well talk about these guys while we've got a moment, because you're gonna hear us call their names a whole lot tonight. Number 1 rusher in this offense is number 2, Jonathan Hurd. He's rushed 108 times for 835 yards. Number 2 rusher is number 3, Kamal Miller. He's rushed 84 times for 365. And then Bobby Wilson, number 14, with 50 carries for 355 yards.
Jonathan Hurd with it now, breaks a tackle deep inside of territory, down to the 10-yard line, and finally tackled there just at the 10-yard line. And making the tackle is Juan Alcazar, along with Christian Pelzer.
And once again, as we mentioned to you, something you're going to see all night. It'll be a challenge for the Cardinals, Lou, to defend this double wing T. Their coach, Coach Matthias, knows that coming in, that's going to be a challenge. They had to prep for it this week. Don't see it often.
And Miller takes the ball inside the 5-yard line. So the big blocking up front by the Tartars doing his job. Kamal Miller is tackled by the Cardinals and finally brought down. So the line for the Tartars, right guard is Leo Fuimauno. Center is Jason Jones. Left tackle, Nick Rodriguez. A.J. Fargas, the left guard. And the right tackle is Adrian Skelton.
And the indication, touchdown. Touchdown scored by Kamal Miller on what was about about a 4-yard run?
Yes. So touchdown at 7:48. And they're going to try to tack on the extra point. PAT kicker, Tommy Nash. So 6-0. The holder will be David Arrows. And we got movement on the line. So it'll be 5 yards, either 5 yards back. Yep, it's going to go 5 yards back. So we'll do it all over again.
While we're doing it all over again, Rashawn just handed us a note indicating that Adonis Johnson has a left ankle injury. He's getting it taped and will return. That's for the Cardinals, number 46, Adonis Johnson, we saw down earlier.
Well, that's good news because he sure got up awful slow.
And he's one of their key guys as well. That's even better news if you're Coach Mathieson.
Kick is up, and it is long and good. So with 7:48 left to go, 7-0 in favor of the Tartars on the first drive of the game. And there you see Tommy Nash, the PAT kicker, and he will give away to the kickoff man, Spencer. Don't call him Ernie Kovacs. But Adrian Skelton is just a sophomore, number 78. We'll see him, 6'5", 265 pounds. Some big sophomores on this Tartar team.
And that's a big one.
Wow, where did all these bugs come from? I guess it's kind of a Halloween movie
Frank,
night.
Is that what it is? Unfortunately, they all get to go home to Orange County with us.
So, 4-yard run. And that was a 42-yard drive. And 5 plays. Here comes the kick. It looks like an onside kick, and that's not going to go far enough for anything. Either that or it was just a muffed kick.
Wow. Well, now we got to see how the officials rule on this.
So that was Nash with the kick. And it looks like they're just going to say, okay, Cardinals, here you go from the 45-yard line. Let's watch that kick. Now, I don't know if that was an onside kick or just a muff, but at any rate.
They've got to live with it. South has to live with it. Lawndale gets the ball in excellent field position at the 45-yard line of South. So this drive starts in Lawndale territory. I mean, in South Torrance. Well, when you got a Torrance, a South, a North, and a West.
Who's
okay.
east?
Yeah,
wait a minute,
exactly.
I guess Torrance is east.
You're right. But officially they're Torrance, they're the Tartars, and so
I made that same mistake, Rufus. Chapman gets the snap. He's going to throw to the receiver coming back for the ball, and that's Manigo. Manigo gets past the 40-yard line, and a nice gain. So it'll be second down and about 6 yards to go for a first down. But yeah, this is where the Cardinals really need to make some hay.
They absolutely have to on this possession, given the great field position that they got on it. Nice stiff arm there by Austin Manigo before he's finally driven out of bounds.
So Chapman is 2 for 2. So it'll be second down and 5. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the near side. And this is going to be a wildcat, a quarterback draw. Chapman is met at about the 40-yard line and maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be third down and 5.
Defense did a great job of stringing that play out. Chapman's an excellent running quarterback. Couldn't get his shoulders turned north and south. As you can see, all east-west running here. And the longer you're going east-west, the more time you're giving the defense to clamp down on you. When he finally tries to turn it up, it's too late.
I know it's early, Rufus, but the Cardinals really need to make this first down to get their confidence up and take a little bit of wind out of the Tartars' sails.
Well, they're going to need a good 5 yards at least to pick it up.
Chapman back to pass, a quick throw. It's caught by Young, but I don't believe that's going to be enough for a first down.
But I think it's going to get them close enough that they're going to go ahead and go for it. Looks like they still are going to be about 2 yards short, Lou, so it'll be a 4th and 2. My guess is that they'll go for it on 4th down.
A 2-yard gain, Rufus, and so, yep, it's going to be a short 4 or a long 3 if they decide to go for a 1st down. So the Cardinals have had their trouble with injuries, and William Self and Timothy Jones not playing. William Self is out for the year, had MCL surgery on his left leg. Back to pass is Chapman. Chapman in trouble, and Chapman out of trouble now, running, gets the 1st down and then some. Down towards the 25-yard line.
Great job by Chapman on the play to pick up that 1st down. The key to it, as I mentioned on the last drive, was from the start. It was almost a quarterback draw, although it wasn't a design draw. You see him dropping back, looking for a receiver, pulls it down. The key, again, is that his shoulders are already turned north-south, okay? And with that, he's able to get a good head of steam going and picks up the 1st down before he's driven out of bounds.
Now Chapman coming over, and off the field is a new quarterback in, and that's number 12, Chris Murray, coming up from the JV team. Hands the ball off. Look out. Watkins in trouble. Watkins in real trouble as he is just about sacked, we could call it, but tackled for a loss by Malik Brown.
Okay, and now you got a late flag on the play. Thrown toward the western part of the field. Let me see if I can escape out of that. And on the western part of the field is the Torrance Totters. Now let's see what the call is going to be by Ken Smotries. You got that's a personal foul against Torrance, and that's going to grant the Cardinals another 15 yards. So boy, they're really going to be in the catbird seat right now, Lou.
Now that's the 3rd penalty for 25 yards against the Tartars, and that's a nice homecoming gift. And let's see if the Cardinals can capitalize on it, and they're at the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
Murray is at quarterback, and he drops the snap, I should say, and he is sacked like a sack of potatoes. Jacob Flick.
And right now the question becomes, okay, what's up? Now we see Anthony Chapman coming back on the field. So the fumble by number 12, Chris Murray, takes them out of the advantageous position they were in at the 12-yard line. It looks like they're back now out beyond the 15.
Well, actually, they're about the 21-yard line, Rufus. So it's going to be 2nd down at about 20. And the pass is complete. Nicely done to Manigo. And he is tackled. Wow. So Chapman with a nice dart there to Manigo.
And on that tackle was number 8, Jacob Flick.
Yeah.
And Flick, demonstrating his own strength, literally pulled back against the forces of gravity, against Manigo going forward, and he was dragging him back in the opposite direction.
So it's to the 12-yard line, a 9-yard gain for the Cardinals. And let's see if they can get the final 10 yards in here. This is a 3rd down play.
Well, they can actually pick up a 1st without scoring a touchdown, Lou. They can get down to the 2-yard line and pick up a 1st down.
Watkins hits the hole, and a little bit slow to develop, Rufus, because the hole was there. Since the handoff didn't get developed in time for Watkins to really take advantage of it.
As you see here on the replay, and boy, he just goes right into the heart of that line of the Torrance Totters, and I can tell you that's not going to be a place where there's a lot of give. Now, here's yet another decision. Okay, so you're in field goal range, presumably. It's 4th down, but it's 4th and about 8 for a 1st down, 4th and 9 for a touchdown.
Now Chapman back in at quarterback, Watkins to his left. Looking to his right is Chapman, almost sacked by Irvine, and he's still on his feet and just gets nailed. Chapman gets nailed, by Jake Watanabe, and then also gets a little Halloween trick-or-treat talking to also.
And here's the deal. They come up empty on the drive after having 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line of South. They give it can't convert on the opportunity. And just like that, now Torrance has the ball, leading 7-0 here, 3:16 left in the first.
It'll be at the 20-yard line, Rufus. Jonathan Hurd with it. Hurd, thundering, gets out of bounds on the sideline, and a good gain.
It was a good game on the play, but actually I like the pursuit by the Lawndale defense that time. I mean, it's taken them a couple of looks to get the feel for this double wing T, and that time the pursuit on the play was actually pretty good.
So a gain of about 3 on the play for Hurd. Double wing formation. And the pile just moves forward, good enough for a first down outside the 30-yard line, and that was Miller. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
One of the things that Coach Mathieson said would be a key in this game, Lou, for his Lawndale Cardinals, and that was that they had to tackle. You cannot afford to miss tackles against this particular offense.
Mass replacements for the Cardinal defense. Back to pass, and open, and incomplete. As the pass is going to the tight end, Spencer Kovacs, and Jacob Kamala a little bit short on that pass.
A little bit short on the pass, threw in the double coverage, but it was harmless. So that brings up, looking from where we are, trying to see down and distance. Shows first down, but we know that that's not true.
It'll be 2nd and 10. But on the replay, it showed Kamala throwing off of his back foot when he really didn't have to. And that's something that Rock Hollis, the head coach of the Tartars, told us, is that Kamala doesn't really have a chance to show off his passing wares in this offense. And there he pitches it to Miller around left end, and look at him go. Gets the first down after he was tackled finally, a shoestring tackle. And I do believe that was by Anthony Ramirez.
That tackle takes him out near midfield and spotted at about the 47-yard line. Indication 1st and 10.
15-yard gain for Miller. And that blocking is excellent by the Tartars in the double wing formation. And the double reverse on the action is Hurd, cutting in and out, and a nice pursuit, and stayed in his lanes was Kristen Coleman to hang on to him. Even though a big size difference, you see right there, Rufus.
Right.
Coleman hanging on and bringing him down. Good job, Chris.
Excellent job, and excellent eyes by the defense of the Cardinals to stay with that play. As you mentioned, a double reverse. And again, although it went for good yards, picked up about 7 on it. Nonetheless, one of those type of plays that can go for big yards. Cardinal defense holds them to a reasonable 7. And now they've jumped off. And I believe that one will go against the Cardinals. And if it does, that's going to give them the easy first down.
Sure does, by about 2 yards, down to just before their 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10. So the Cardinals also getting some penalties, Rufus. That's their 2nd for 15 yards.
And what was funny about that, the right side of the line, once they got there, I guess he figured I may as well stay here. I'm already here.
And Bobby Wilson is finally grabbed and thrown back. Closest to us is Kristen Pellizer.
And once again, the first down play, that's Bobby Wilson, number 14, that Lou is mentioning. Big number 78 for the Cardinals. One of the first to get there, gets a hand on him just enough to slow him down and give his teammates a chance to get there. That's Martin Ramirez, the senior, 6'2", 275 pounds.
2nd and 6, but look out. On the run is the Tartars' Aaron Salva, and he is in for the touchdown. Any flags? Nope.
Flags on the play.
That was a 36-yard run, Rufus.
And it was as the clock was expiring here in the first quarter.
So we'll tack on the extra point or have the PAT try with no time on the clock. 36-yard run. And again, that was by Aaron Silva. And Tommy Nash will try to tack on the extra point. Hold by Eros, nicely done, but the kick is blocked. It's fallen on by the Cardinals, so the ball is dead, and so is the first quarter. The reason I use that verb is Halloween coming up.
Right. And so the Cardinals salvage a little something out of it by blocking the PAT. And so with that and the end of the first quarter, it's a 13-0 Torrance lead. And I was about to say, of course, it's almost a moot point now. But what was happening, I mean, on first and second downs, and mostly first, the Cardinal defense actually doing pretty okay against this double wing T. They've held them to gains between 4 and 7 on first down, but it's been second downs because I believe both of the scores have come on second down plays. Second and third, I don't know if they've gotten them into many third down situations yet.
Well, this one was an 80-yard drive, so the Tartars certainly had to earn this one. And they were helped out by that offside penalty that gave them the first down. So kicking the ball off will be Spencer Kovacs. And he will be kicking it to Michael Watkins. And
Austin Manigo.
Line drive kick. And that's going to go into the end zone. Touchback, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at their own 40-yard line with 12 minutes on the clock in the first half. And let's go to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. As you know, this Cardinal team is hurting at the running back position. Adonis Johnson was thought to be the next man up. Well, someone rolled on his ankle on the opening kickoff of tonight's game. The trainers retaped him. He tried to run on it, was unable to, so he's on the sideline right now with ice on that left ankle. Now, Will Self, remember, it was thought to be just an MCL sprain at the beginning of the season. Ends up being that he tore his ACL, so, of course, he's done for the season. And also Timothy Jones, he sprained his ankle very severely. He's on the sidelines now in a boot. He is going to get reevaluated later on next week. And they're not sure what his status is going to be for the final week of the season. Right now, they're hurting. They may turn to a couple of freshmen, guys.
Chapman had to throw the ball as two Tartars were hanging on to him. Dion Evans jumped up for the ball, and I do believe he's going to be called for offensive interference because he gave a pretty good shove. But Chapman,
well,
Anthony
got a
was
holding call, actually, that's going to go against Torrance. So again, it's Halloween. I mean, well, it's not Halloween yet, but it's a full moon, and it's the 6th. That's about as close as you can get to Halloween with a full moon on a Friday night. So,
well, that's a gift and a nice treat for the Cardinal offense. So up to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10, and another 10 yards tacked on, 4 penalties, 35 yards for the Tartars. Now, I think I figured it out why both of us are confusing South and East Torrance High Schools. Both of them have similar color schemes.
South and West, you mean?
Well, this is East Torrance, right?
Right.
The Tartars. I'm trying to help you out.
Right. Well, you are.
I'm trying to help you out.
You
You
are.
keep digging me in that hole here. So no gain on the play to Michael Watkins. Actually may have lost a yard, so it'll be, yeah, he did lose a yard, so it'll be 2nd down and 11. So that defensive line of the Tartars really doing a job.
So right now, Lou, the Cardinals here, we've got one quarter in the books and we've started the second. The Cardinals having a bit of difficulty, although they did have a good possession there in the first half, but they're still struggling to get some offensive momentum going. They had a situation where it was 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line of Torrance. Nothing materialized there. That was their best opportunity. You see Chapman dropping back to pass here, steps up and steps right into the pursuit.
And that's the sophomore I was telling you about that everybody's talking about, Adrian Skelton. Certainly not, or maybe on Halloween Skelton. All right. Never mind. A sophomore, 6'5", 265.
Wow.
I already feel sorry for his parents' grocery bill.
And a sophomore.
Yeah.
Which means he's only going to get older and bigger.
That's right. Mom and Dad, oh boy, do I feel sorry for them. Maybe we should start a fundraiser.
They better find a way to Costco or Sam's Club. Not that either one is a sponsor of us. I just know that's where you can get a lot of food for a pretty good price.
That's right. As a parent of 2 young growing people, some of them coming back to the fold.
So, one's already come back.
A 5-yard penalty against the Cardinals, so it's to the 26-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 15. Chapman has to get out of there in a hurry, but not fast enough.
Wow.
As he was tackled on the run. So David Samayoa.
That's going to bring up a 4th down play, and this time, once again, because they're deep in their own territory, the Cardinals will be forced to punt.
Actually, that was number 60. We're going to see a lot of kids that are on the JV team from Torrance play tonight, and we don't have all of their numbers.
They don't care. What they care about is being out there on the field getting some PT.
There you go, boy. I think I smell kettle corn going. As Alex Alcaraz. Timeout now on the field. I do believe that's number 1.
That's number 1 taken by the Lawndale Cardinals.
So the Lawndale Cardinals, let's go over the Pioneer League standings real quick if we can, Rufus.
All righty, that's easy to do because you're right here.
We have North at the top of the heap at 3-0, 6-2 overall. They've won 3 in a row. Then these Tartars, 2-1, 4-4 overall. El Segundo, same record, 2-1, 4-4. Then South at 1-2 and 4-4. Centennial 1-2 and 2-6, and the Cardinals. But taking a look at the preseason schedule, West was the toughest opponent, and also Bell Gardens for the Tartars. As you see the homecoming crowd. Punt by Alcaraz. Line drive picked up at the 45-yard line of the Tartars. And nice coverage on Jonathan Hurd. That was Dion Evans on the tackle, but flag is thrown in that heap, so we'll figure out what that is.
And that flag came in from the line judge. And it's going to go against Torrance. So they've had their share of penalties in this game, Lou. Thus far, what you've heard, and once again, we're going to see on the replay here, the tackle for Lawndale made by Ryan Alexander. Good open field tackle by Ryan Alexander. There you see him there, number 15.
Yep.
And there you see at the end of that play, the offensive holding call. Could call it clipping. Some call it holding. Same difference.
So 10 more yards onto the penalty list. That keeps growing for the Tartars and keeping Lawndale's hopes alive. And Ryan Alexander really playing a good game tonight for Lawndale. Kamala, double reverse, and this is to Miller. Kamala with a little bit of a shove, and there goes Miller. Miller has Young to beat, and also getting out of a tackle all the way down towards the 20-yard line.
And the tail of that play, Lou, was the one thing that Coach Mathieson was most concerned about, and that was a bunch of missed tackles.
And that's exactly what that was on the reverse. And there you see another tackle there missed.
You're going to see coming in from the right side of your screen, fans, in just a moment. There's number 72, who really gave it. Man, I got to give a shout out to my man, number 72, because that's the John Lewis. And he came from a long way off that play.
Marcus Manigo doing a terrific job fighting off the block of Adrian Skelton, Rufus, and tackle John Hurd for a big loss. Watch Manigo, number 9, in the good pursuit.
Stays with the play, doesn't go for the fakes, keeps his eye on the running backs that you're taught. Keep your eye on their hips, because wherever the hips go and their waist, that's where they're going. You don't have to look at the head, don't have to look at the shoulders. Zero in on the waist. The waist will tell you where the rest of them is going. Wow.
Hurd in motion, and then jumping offside is the defensive end, Edward Banuelos.
And that's going to make a second and long of what was a second and what looks like, what, about 14, would you call it?
Well, now it's going to, it was offside, well, it was illegal procedure, so Banuelos was drawn offside by the left tackle, Nick Rodriguez.
So a break there that time for the Cardinals, because that now instead of it being what I thought was going to be like a 2nd and 9, instead it ends up being a 2nd and a whole bunch the other way.
Kamala off his back foot again, but this is in the backfield. Alexander, again, terrific pursuit by Ryan Alexander to throw Aaron Salva out of bounds.
Great pursuit by Ryan Alexander. And I've seen some improvement in Ryan's game over the last couple of weeks. So I remember when we were last here, Ryan was on top of the ball, but not always having his head and his vision in the right direction on the play. And tonight, and he is zeroing in on everything.
Need to get to the 9-yard line for a first down, Rufus. And the ball is spotted at the 30, so no gain on the play.
And yet again, it is a 3rd and about 19.
Kamala back to pass, has plenty of time, throws it downfield, and throws it in the dirt. Had a man wide open, and that was Spencer Kovacs, as he was covered by Anthony Chapman.
So that's going to bring up a 4th and again 19. Ball at the 30-yard line. They need to get to the 9 for a first down, so may as well call it about a 20-yard thing, but it looks like they're going to go for it.
Might as well with a 13-point lead. Kamala back to pass. Going to go for the end zone. Has the man open and
great
knocked
defense.
Away. That was Manigo. Austin Manigo just tipped it away like setting up a kill shot at a volleyball game.
Turn around, got a good look at it. Lou, watch the replay here. Your quarterback drops back, going for the corner pattern. Manigo has a bead on it all the way, gets a hand up, knocks it away harmlessly, and it's going to be first down for the Cardinals at the 30-yard line.
Decent field position for Chapman and the Cardinals. They catch a break. The defense holds as Rock Hollis trying to do something, maybe get that working on that passing game as the playoffs are coming around. Chapman hands the ball off on the delay to Watkins, and the Tartars are hungry on defense. A penalty flag gets tossed in there as well. Coming up off the bottom of the pile, A.J. Fraga for Torrance. Maybe a 1-yard gain for Watkins, but let's see. Is that against Torrance?
Face mask against
Wow.
Torrance. So Torrance has given up huge penalties on every possession. This is going to be a big 15-yarder, Lou. That's going to take it out across the 40 to the 42-yard line and an automatic first down.
So a 1-yard gain is turned into a 16-yard gain. Actually, out to the 42-yard line.
And at some point, you got to start turning these penalties. You got to make them pay, Lou. Thus far, the Cardinals have not made them pay.
In a passing formation, spread offense for Chapman. Back to pass, Lobs it down the sideline, has a man open. Oh, boy. That was just missed by Dion Evans, the project for the Cardinals. Boy, he's got a beautiful look for a receiver.
Beautiful look, but he's a basketball player, as Coach said, that they are working very diligently to make a football player. You see there, boy, that's just a little more laying out for it.
If he would have kept on running, it looks like he hesitated a bit. If he would have kept on running, he would have had that because he outran his man, that's for sure. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Chapman and the Cardinals. Hands the ball off to Watkins, and look out. Just manhandled and brought down by the Charter defensive lineman Nick Rodriguez.
Not a lot doing thus far in this game for the usually dependable Michael Watkins. Once again, look at what we talk about, fans, running east-west. When you're going east-west and your shoulders aren't turned upfield, that spells trouble.
Well, when Rodriguez is in pretty much inside your shirt, it's kind of hard to turn. Some good news on the sideline, Rufus. We're seeing Adonis Johnson trying out that injured ankle, running a sprint.
Well, he looks pretty okay. Looks like we may see him again.
Chapman downfield has a man open,
Boom.
Just out of the reach of Tyler Young. So it'll be 4th down, or was that 4th down? It'll be 4th down.
I
and
think
about 15.
So the same thing on that play, Lou. We're going to see the replay here. Here's Chapman stepping up, lets it go. And I'm just not sure that his receivers are running all out to get under the play. That looks another one where the guy figured, okay, my guy might be in trouble. Maybe I should come back to the ball. I'm going to stall for a moment. And if it kept going, that one might have been a long game for them. But instead, they're going to have to punt on 4th and 13.
Alcaraz punting the ball to Hurd. This one is off the toe and gets a good bounce, though, inside of Tartar territory, and finally stops rolling at about the 43-yard line. Or check that, the 33-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Torrance with 5:21 left to go.
And you're right, a very good break for the Cardinals. That kick, not particularly good. I think it got about almost as much roll as it did air in it on that one. But the Cardinals will take it because it puts Torrance at their own 33-yard line.
They get a little bit further up. We're going to call it the 34 now. Kamala under center, hiding underneath that double wing formation. Hurd trying to go around the edge, gets there, and a good defensive pursuit. And a nice tackle by David Tuivai.
Okay, now here's what I spoke about just a couple of minutes ago. Once again, on the replay, seeing Miller with the carry, or rather Hurd. Number 2 is Hurd, their number 1 rusher with 8:35 coming in to the night's contest. The point I was making, again, good defense on 1st down. Held them to maybe 3 yards. They got to be able to do it on 2nd and obviously on 3rd. Let's see what happens here.
Hurd hits the line, is hit, but that veteran line gives him enough room to squeeze through. It'll be a 3rd down and short for Torrance. 3rd down and about a yard.
But if you're the Cardinals, I mean, that's the position you want to find yourself in, at least having the opportunity to come up with stops and force 4th downs.
So a 5-yard gain for John Hurd. 3rd down and a long one.
Ow,
oh, boy.
Okay, so how many 1st downs have they given away with offside penalties tonight? This is going to be another big one, Lou. You had them in a 3rd and 1 situation, opportunity for your defense to do something. Instead, you give them the easy one. Now, I understand what they're trying to do defensively. I mean, you're trying to anticipate the snap count. You're trying to get as much of a jump as you can on this offense, but you just cannot afford to keep giving away those kinds of opportunities.
And Miller makes a run and a 1st down deep inside of Cardinal territory, finally brought down by a host of Cardinals, including Engerson Lambert and Christian Coleman.
And we're basically what the Tartar offense is, while you guys are hanging your head and licking your wounds over giving us that first down, we're going to go ahead and keep playing football.
15-yard play by Miller. Toss now goes to the wide receiver who is in the backfield, Wilson. And Wilson still on his feet and plows his way down to about the 20-yard line, Rufus.
Looks like he's going to be way inside the 20, down inside the 15-yard line. They're going to finally spot it.
Was that at the 13 maybe?
Judging from where they've set up over on the head linesman's side, they're actually down at about the 11, Lou.
Okay. So Wilson with a big gain, and Wilson again almost gets wishboned there. But a good defensive stand by the Cardinals, but it's still a gain of about a yard.
So right now, well, they got to get the sideline marker straight. They got it showing as a fourth down. We know that that's not accurate. Okay, second down. That's what it is.
Second down at about 7. Man in motion is Miller. Wilson
Inside
to Kalama,
pitch.
and that is going to be inside the end zone or close to a touchdown.
Wow, we don't see a
yes,
signal.
It is.
Now we see the signal.
Touchdown for the Tartars. Bobby Wilson doing the bulk of the work at the end of that drive with 2:48 left to go in the half, and it's a 19-0 game.
That was Wilson with the carry. What? And by the time they, in fact, they actually never get him down.
Nope. It's just that from our angle, sometimes it's tough to see. Nash getting ready to tack on the extra point. Man goes in motion to the near side. Snap good, spot good. Kick is awful.
That's no good.
And no good. Actually, the snap was a bad one, but a good recovery by David Arrows. But probably didn't have enough time to tee up that ball well enough. So 2 PATs go awry, one blocked and one just muffed. And it's 19-0 Torrance over Lawndale. So, hey, there's still hope at the nest.
There really is, because considering how explosive this double wing T offense can be and the challenges that it presents, the Cardinals are right now still in the middle of a football game. Once again, penalties hurt them. Here you had back out before the midfield stripe, where they had him in a 3rd and 1 situation. They give him the easy first down on the offsides penalty. And that's all a team like this needs. That was the break that they needed. They capitalize on their penalties. Lawndale has got to do the same thing. Torrance has given them a couple of big penalties and great field position for most of the evening. They've just not been able to capitalize.
7 plays, 66 yards. Bobby Wilson capped it off with a 10-yard run. The PAT was no good, 19-0. Kovacs kicks it high and deep and picked up by Manigo. Austin trying the other way but can't get out of the clutches of the Tartars. And just like their nickname, they are tough and physical.
Tough and physical, and they're going to stop, let's see, I believe they're going to stop him short of the 20. In fact, looks like he'll be way short of the 20 at about the 15.
Bobby Wilson got cleaned out by a block. But there's one of the kickers, Tommy Nash, in on the tackle. So 2:41 left to go in the first half on homecoming night here at Lawndale High School. Glad you joined us on CityTV. Chapman gets him set. Back to pass. Pulls the ball in and
wow,
gets tackled.
I think that kind of got us all fooled there for a second. I was actually looking at the receivers running in the pattern. Thought maybe there was an opportunity for a pass play. That never materialized as he kept it. Now we've got a timeout, their first being taken by Torrance.
All right. Tackle was made. Now, give me a minute here.
All right.
Siali Moa Gu Tutia.
That's good enough for government. I don't know if it's good enough for his family, but
I know how government works.
Oh, and the way you did that was just about how the government would do it.
Okay, I'll work on it. So timeout on the field with 2:31 left to go. What do you mean, slow and backwards?
Exactly, and what we've played almost a whole half in the same amount of time as last week. We played 1 quarter.
Well, we've had a lot of running going on today.
And that's what keeps the clock moving. So I ain't complaining.
I'm not saying a word. I love Friday Night Lights. That's all I got to say.
Haven't had a Cut Spencer sighting yet tonight.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's counting his money.
Or somebody's money.
Chapman being chased down again.
Better
look out. Heaves it. It is being fought
Is
for.
it a dual possession? Did this guy come down with it?
It looks
or
like the Tartars.
Interception?
Jonathan Hurd may have taken it away from Austin Manigo for the interception.
Wow, we can see that on the replay because the Cardinal certainly had his hand on it. Our replay a bit obscure because we're operating in black and white right now as opposed to color due to technical difficulties.
And we grew up on black and white now.
And for a moment there was a dual possession, Lou, between Austin Manigo and Jonathan Hurd, and they're going to say that Hurd ultimately came away with full possession of the football.
From the 30-yard line, 2:18 left to go. Kamala, back to pass, wants to get 6 on the board now. Throws the fade pattern to his tight end, Kovacs. Touchdown Chargers. One play, 30 yards.
That was too easy. Too easy.
Second completion, and there you see it wide open as Spencer Kovacs was wide open. 30 yards on the touchdown. One play, and that took all of 7 seconds.
And now the adventuresome extra point attempt coming up for the Tartars.
Snap is bad. Good job by Arrows to recover it, but it's a bad kick again. It was low and blocked by the Cardinals. So with 2:11 left to go, 25-0. The Chargers lead the Cardinals on homecoming night. And again, cashing in on the turnover as Chapman had to run for his life.
Right.
Had to just put it up for grabs and probably couldn't even see where the sideline was to throw it out of bounds. So you see some homecoming princesses.
And that's one of the challenges that Coach Meeson knew they'd have to deal with. His offensive line clearly outsized, if you will. By the defensive line of the Tartars, and they're putting up a good fight. The offensive line is, but boy, they're just not giving Chapman enough time. Watkins isn't able to find any holes because none are there. That's why, not that he's not looking for them. There simply aren't any holes there to be found, and all of that gives the secondary an opportunity to clamp down on the receivers. So thus far, is making it a long night for the Cardinals.
Kovacs, who scored the touchdown, has enough left to kick it out to kick it into the end zone for a touchback. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at that point. And also an interesting point made by Coach Matthiasen to us before the ball game is he's letting some underclassmen come in on the varsity to prove themselves. He says he might as well. They got 2 games left. There's nothing to lose.
Well, you're 9 games in. You're 3 and 5 overall, 0 and 3 in league play. So you aren't in it for playoff positioning. What you are in it for is let's start building toward next year. I think it's a good strategy. Of course, a couple of seniors you've got who've been with the program. Certainly give them their due and show them their props, particularly here at home.
Murray throws the ball across the middle, a little bit too high for Tyler Young, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Now, we didn't get Murray's class, but he's definitely one of those guys that coach is looking at for the future because Anthony Chapman is a senior.
So there you see Murray. Chris, don't know. He could be a sophomore.
We'll certainly get that information for you at the half. I'm sure Rayshon will be on top of it.
He probably already knows. He knows everything. What doesn't he know about high school football? Murray hands the ball off to Watkins, and he runs into a big wall of gray shirts led by number 6, Jake Watanabe. And we got a timeout by the Tartars. That's their 2nd timeout, I do believe.
And the reason they're conservative, Lou, there's still 2 minutes left in the half. They've got Lawndale deep in their own territory. It's a 3rd and forever. Looks like about a 3rd and 14. They need to get out to the 30-yard line to pick up the first down. They're thinking if we can hold these guys here, we've got a shot at tacking on another score.
So there's the first-year coach for the Cardinals, trying to keep the confidence level up of his troops. And again, over on the other side, Rock Hollis, 22 years in the books.
Well, you certainly want to keep this thing, and it's already getting in that danger zone, Lou, in terms of the score. You know, when it was 19-0, we felt good that, hey, we still got a ball game. I mean, that's only 3 scores, and you're right back in it. But now you're down 4 scores. You can't afford to give up any more ground at this point. Certainly not here in the first half.
Murray back to pass, coming this way. Throw is in and out of the hands of Tyler Young. He had to come back for it, Rufus. And he was being watched by Irvine and Malik Brown.
And, of course, that incompletion stops the clock. So only 4 seconds elapse there.
So 4th down on the play, Rufus.
And the game clock doesn't start until the snap. So Torrance will get the ball because the Cardinals are being forced to punt. Wow, that one's nearly blocked. Excellent punt, excellent punt. Now the special teams has to get there. It bounces back. Go ahead and down it.
Good job by Alcaraz, especially since he was being bore down on by one of the Tartar defenders on special teams.
That was nearly a 60-yard punt, Lou. It took a backward bounce about 5 or 6 yards.
Aaron Salva almost blocked that punt. So 1:47 left to go. Tartars still in their own territory, just peering over the borderline at the 47-yard line.
And you're right. And right now, this Cardinal defense has to play good defense for 147. That's what they got to do.
Kamala swings it out to the near sideline to Hurd, and that's just across the 50-yard line. Let's see where they get forward progress to. It looks like to about the 46.
Watch on the replay here. Kamala drops back. Pass finds Hurd, his receiver. Was that Ryan Alexander who came out of the replay? Couldn't see for sure.
That was Jonathan Hurd.
Completion made that time to Malik Brown. He's their #1 receiver coming into the night's contest. He had caught 17 passes for 191 yards.
And that's just his first catch of the ball game, Rufus.
And he's not the kind of guy you want to get started.
8-yard gain. Kamala passes, and that's high and outside to his intended receiver. And that's Roland Nillarp. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Tartars. And we had a penalty flag on the play, Rufus.
Wow. Well, let's see what the referee, Ken Smochers, has.
And
looks like it's going to go against the Tartars.
Decline, so the Cardinals will take the down.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 now for the Tartars. 1:07 left here in the first half. Lawndale Cardinals, here's what they're playing for, folks. They're playing desperately to keep the Tartars out of the end zone here.
Kovacs with the catch. Kamala had all day long. That's going to be another Tartar 1st down at about the 25-yard line, just inside the 25-yard line.
Christian Coleman with the tackle.
No huddle.
Game clock starts, under a minute left. Kamala back to pass. That one's incomplete. Boy, Carter's receiver just dropped it. That was Malik Brown. Normally sure-handed Malik Brown. We just talked about it, Lou. You were saying they hadn't gone his direction tonight. Now, in 2 out of the last 3 plays, they've thrown toward him.
Well, I would imagine with a 25-point lead and less than a minute left to go, that Rock Hollis is going to work on a whole different array of formations.
Well, Rock Hollis is going to work on getting 6 points if he can.
And there you see a spread, a kind of a more of a traditional set. Kamala to the sideline, caught to Hurd on the waggle outside, getting towards the 15-yard line. May have seen the 1st down marker and went for it and out of bounds to stop the clock with 44.8 left.
Okay, and that's the key. And of course, they've got 1 timeout remaining here in the first half.
Is that a 1st down? It sure looks like it.
Yep. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, it would appear.
You are correct, sir. So a 14-yard gain for Hurd. On the catch from Kamala. Pitch to Hurd, right up the middle, bounces through and gets whacked by the Cardinal defense. First man to hit him was David Tuivai, and also Kristen Pelzer was there.
That's something, as you see on the replay here, somewhere in there was the stick. And like you say, Kristen Pelzer leading the way. Now we're going to have, we have another timeout being taken. Well, no, we just have a stoppage in play.
Well, we had another play. They're going the no huddle route, Rufus. So a 2-yard gain. And don't know who that was. It just happened so fast. So it'll be 3rd down at about 3 yards to go for a 1st down. Hurd in motion, stops in the eye. Now hands the ball off to Miller. Miller gets racked up. Some good defense by Pelzer again.
Pelzer and Manigo there to clean up. And boy, this is going to, now let's see who called this timeout. Torrance calls it, and by my count, that's their 1st, 3rd, and final timeout.
By my count as well, with 15 point, either 8 or 9 seconds left.
Wow. And if we look at if we look over to the far, okay, so now, well, let's see, what are they going to call this? It looks like they're spotting it as a 1st down.
Okay, so it's 1st and goal.
1st and goal from, boy, it's hard to see, but that sure looks like it's at about the 1 or 2 yard line.
I'm going to call it the 2 because it's right where the PAT snap marker is.
All right. And I'm going to cheat a little bit and look over here and see where the side judge lines up, because he lines up directly opposite it. He's inside the 5. Yeah, you're right. He's down at the 2.
So Jonathan Hurd is there. The big offensive line is there. Kamala. breaks the huddle. Here they come. First and goal. Handoff to the
Wow.
fullback, and I do believe that was that a lineman lined up at fullback?
Indication. And the side judge
Actually,
rushes in to say, no, they didn't get in. Clock's running. Are they going to get another playoff? This is what's key. I don't think they will. No, they don't.
So number 55, Leo Fuimao, was the right guard, and actually the Refrigerator Perry fullback couldn't find his way. So a good job on a goal line stand by the Lawndale Cardinals to stop him from making it a 33-0 score. So at the half, 25-0, Tartars over the Cardinals. Rufus, anything to add before the break?
Well, nothing other than you're right. That was the kind of break that the Cardinals needed. Excellent goal line stand right there. You're already in a deep enough hole. So they've got a little bit of momentum, a little something that they can build on as they go in to the locker room at halftime, and we celebrate homecoming 2012 here at the Cardinals' Nest on City TV.
Priscilla's activities include the ukulele club, SRLA, AFC, Key Club, Asian Club, and her interests are music, science, movies, and art. Her goal is to do well in school and not miss any opportunities, and to make at least one person smile every day. We have Vanessa Garcia. Vanessa is escorted by her father, Richard Garcia. School activities include the band, the Gay Straight Alliance, the Save the Animals Club, and her interests are reading, music, hanging out with friends, and her goal is to have the opportunity to make a difference in the world. She wants to go to a college up in Northern California and major in business or theology. Next we have Danielle Hickman. Danielle's activities include ASC, girls basketball, cheer, softball, PSC, CSF, networking, get involved. Her interests are playing sports, singing, very well, smiling, laughing, and her goal is always to be in the top 10 of the junior class to get a full ride scholarship to any top universities and win at least a season game this year in basketball. I'm sure they will win many more. Tom Tran. Tom is escorted by his cousin Russell. Tom's school activities are Filipino Club President, Fashion Club, the Gay Straight Alliance, Save the Animals Club. His interests are playing volleyball, doing community service, hanging with friends, and his goal is to become a doctor and help others in need. Next out there we have Dylan Danford. Dylan is to be escorted by Miss Torrance. Dylan's school's activities are ASB, DSU Treasurer, Ukulele Club, Debate Club. His interests are singing, music, enjoying life, songwriting, dancing, acting, and his goals are to be spontaneous. Brianna Miguel. Brianna is escorted by her sister, Chanel. Her school activities include sophomore class vice president, varsity chair, co-captain, varsity volleyball player, Black Student Union, historian, fashion club, and have her interests are volleyball, music, acting, networking, modeling, photography,
Second half just about ready to get underway. It is homecoming here at the Cardinals' Nest at Lawndale High School. And getting ready to kick things off in the half is Alex Alcaraz. And let's go down to Rashawn Haylock real quick.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I talked to Torrance head coach Rock Hollis coming out of the locker room at halftime, and he said he's pleased with the way his team is playing, both on the offense and defensive lines. He says up front we're playing really well, and hopefully we can keep that up in the second half. For the Lawndale side of things, Coach Mathieson was pleased with the way his defensive line played in that first half, but he said it's the second level guys that got to get to the ball and start making those tackles. Aside from that, on the offensive side of the ball, he says he looks to go with a 2-quarterback system just like he did in that first half. He looks to continue that here in the second half, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn. As always, a good report. And with 11:58 left to go, just 2 seconds taken away on that kickoff, the Tartars have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line as Bobby Wilson with the run back. Wilson with the touchdown run. And also did a good job catching the ball as well.
And the moment Rashawn said it, I realized what we wanted to know. I'll come back to that in a moment.
Good defensive pursuit by the Cardinals, taking Jonathan Hurd out of the play for a loss all the way back to the 28-yard line.
Wow. That is a big play for them. That's one of the few times they've been able to take one of the rushers for the Tartars,
especially the rusher.
Ground play, right? Hurd.
Actually, the ball was knocked loose.
And that's what the coaching staff of the Cardinals was saying. They thought it was loose and should have potentially been their ball. Instead, it's a 2nd and about 16.
Ball is handed off. And a big run, getting the lost yardage back and then some. And that was Aaron Salva. And that's up near the 42-yard line.
They needed 16, Lou. They got a good 13, maybe 14 on it. It's going to make it a 3rd and a very manageable, let's call it 3 yards to give them benefit of the doubt.
So we'll call it a 15-yard gain, Rufus. And we have a Tom Strickfaden sighting here tonight. And again, Kamala draws the offensive or defensive line off sides. Edward Banuelos that time.
And what's going to happen, Lou? I know for certain that it's been at least 3 times tonight they've given them first down on 3rd and short situations where they had the opportunity to make a defensive play. At least one of those 3 times, this is the 3rd, on one of those times in the first half, that kept the drive alive and they ended up scoring on it. Let's see what happens this time.
Jonathan Hurd again and is hurted. And again, the defense of the Lawndale Cardinals doing a terrific job. And actually that's Miller getting up off the bottom of the pile is Kristen Coleman. And again, Kristen Coleman has a big heart, the little sophomore. Probably has to hang on to his defensive line buddies just to stay on the ground. But also, again, there's our guy, Ryan Alexander.
Ryan Alexander makes the initial contact, loses it, but stays with the play, comes back and helps to bring him down and creating another 2nd and long situation, this time 2nd and about 14.
Back inside of Tartar territory, throw over the middle, and it's incomplete to Kovacs, and Kamal with a good pass that time. But Kovacs just couldn't come up with it, being bothered by 2 defenders.
Wow, and if we look at the replay, boy, I thought this was going to be pretty close to a defensive pass interference.
As Manigo.
Officials obviously decided against that, and so that brings up for a rare 3rd and double-digit first down situation. 3rd and call it 13, 3rd and 13 now for the Torrance Tartars.
Kamala, 6 out of 9, 72 yards and a touchdown. Throwing, he's going to do that again. That was in the first half. Throws it down the middle, and nobody there. Actually, the intended receiver would have been Kovacs, but covering on the play.
It was Manigo along with Ingerson Lambert, according to what I saw.
Chris Neal also in the neighborhood. So 4th down, and in punt formation are the Tartars. So we'll see if in fact they punt or not, or if they're going to go for it.
We know they've got a good running game. I don't know if they want to go for 13 yards on 4th and 13. No, looks like instead, at least they're setting up in punt formation.
Is that Nick Rodriguez tackle? Nice field on the punt. Back getting that big punt and going out of bounds. Wow. What a terrific punt. Lambert watched it go out.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Bobby Wilson escorted that out of bounds, and that was a beautiful punt by Rodriguez.
And that's going to be, well, it looks like it's going to be down near the 5-yard line. And actually, they spot it right on the 5. So from their own 5-yard line, the Cardinals got 95 yards of real estate to try to negotiate to get on the scoreboard here in the third quarter. 9:54 remaining. First good defensive stand for the Cardinals on that particular possession where Torrance had it coming out of the locker room to start the second half. Cardinals do well defensively.
41-yard punt net for the Tartars. Chapman will start at quarterback for the Cardinals. Tartars bunching up. This is a draw, quarterback draw, and hit immediately. And that was Watanabe initially hit there. Also, Siali Moagututuia.
And I actually like that call, Lou. I mean, he picks up maybe a couple on the play, a long one, so it's going to be second down and 9, to say the least. But here's the point. Chapman is one of your best rushers on the team. Even though he's your quarterback, you got to play safe. You don't want to risk handoffs and fumbles and turnovers and all that stuff, so you keep the ball in your quarterback's hands, see what he can do.
Chapman throws on the flats, completes in Manigo.
Manigo's got to turn back the other direction. Manigo they'll give him the forward progress out to about the 11-yard line. It's going to make it a third down. Not bad, about a third down, a long 3, short 4.
So to the 11-yard line. So we'll call it a 5-yard hookup. But it's kind of tough when you're being knocked backwards by Hurd and Miller at the same time. So, but you're right. But the defense of Torrance is right there. So they've been doing a terrific job throwing monkey wrenches in the Cardinal offense all night long.
And the Cardinals now with a third down situation of their own, 3rd and 4. They need to make something happen.
Whistle. And was it too much time?
Yep, delay a game. Boy, so your 3rd and 4, Lou, now becomes a 3rd and 9.
Back to the 6-yard line.
Or do we do the old half the distance to the goal thing? It looks like that's what we're going to do. So they'll mark it back 2.5. So it becomes a 3rd and 7.
Chapman looking over the middle and then just gets blitzed. Not literally blitzed, but Jake Watanabe coming in with a big hit from his linebacker position.
Watanabe, one of those names that we knew we'd be calling. Surprisingly, haven't called much of Irvine tonight, who's their leading defender, number 30, Andrew Irvine, their number 1 defender with 59 tackles coming into tonight's contest. He's been in on a couple of plays, but hasn't had the kind of game that I thought we'd see from him tonight thus far.
Alcaraz in a bad position, has the punt blocked, and it was blocked by Salva, who has been our tip of the hat nominee tonight for the Tartars.
And that's a safety that's going to go against Lawndale. And all things considered, how that worked out, I guess that's the lesser of a couple of evils, if you will.
Yeah, it's not a touchdown scored against you because waiting to field that punt was Jonathan Hurd at about the 35. So it's a 2-point safety for the Tartars, and the block by Aaron Salva. So Salva also with a 36-yard touchdown run. So he's responsible for 8 points tonight. 27-0 now. As Alcaraz will get a free kick. Boots it way high. This is going to be short, fielded, and downed at the 45-yard line by David Arrows, one of the all-around players on this team, and also the holder on kicks. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Kamala and the Tartars from their own 45-yard line. Actually, from the Cardinals' 45-yard line.
Right, and a tough situation gets a little bit tougher as they're down, as you mentioned, by a margin now of 27-0, and you're giving Torrance the ball in your territory.
Pitch goes to Miller. Miller gets towards the 40-yard line, a little bit past there. There's Ryan Alexander in the middle of that tackle. Also in there with the big beef was Kristen Pelliser.
And we for sure won't see Adonis Johnson again tonight. We thought in the first half, Rashawn reported that he was going in to be taped up. He came out, gave it a go. We saw him run some sprints on the sideline, but now he sans shoulder pads, which is a clear indication that he's done for the night.
4-yard gain. Now the pitch goes to Hurd. Nice big hole for him to run through. And that's going to be a first down. That hole was opened up by A.J. Fraga.
We're actually going to call it a third down. It stopped just about a yard short. Nice play by Lawndale defender who got low on the play. Let's see if we can see who that was. In the scrum, we can't quite see Manigo's number in there. I don't think he was the guy, though. It was somebody else. And so now you've got a 3rd and short, little 3rd and less than 5 for a first down. And for a change, the Cardinals don't give up the automatic by virtue of the foul. Or penalty, I should say.
That's the good news, but Jonathan Hurd
picks
makes
it up
that a moot
anyway.
point. That's down right around the 31-yard line, we're going to call that. So a 6-yard gain and a first down for Hurd. Now get tight in that double wing formation. Man in motion is Miller, hands the ball off back to Hurd, and look out, there goes Hurd. Hurd goes towards the 10-yard line and is finally wrangled down near the far sideline by Chris Neal, who has also done a good job tonight for the Cardinal defense.
Done a very good job tonight for them, but once again, this double wing T offense now starting to show its wear and tear on this Cardinal defense. You know, they came out with a lot of energy on that first drive of the second half, and I was saying to myself, you know, you come out of the locker room and that's what happens. But this offense wears you down. And right now, we see the Cardinals a little slower getting to the point of attack.
Wilson.
And there's Wilson with the touchdown score.
I'm going to call that a 15-yard run, Rufus.
All right. Well, you can call it a touchdown, that's for sure. It doesn't matter how many yards you put on it.
So that's Wilson's second touchdown run. We're going to call it 15 yards. And that makes the score 33-0.
And unlike our game that we did last week, with Lusinger, the game was actually, even though the margin was wide, they were playing Redondo. It wasn't reflective of it. Unfortunately, in this game, the margin does accurately reflect the disparity in tonight's contest. It's a 34-0 ball game. We're here 5:53 left in the third, and the Tartars are winning. They're spoiling homecoming, man.
I tell you,
You know?
nothing worse than that.
They're spoiling homecoming. It's 34-0. Now, you were saying something about the clock starts to run pretty soon.
Well, it's 34-0. It might be 30 or 35. I do see Rashawn Haylock Why don't we hit him up? Rashawn, go.
And thanks a lot, guys. Throwing the football isn't something this Torrance offense does often. Coach Rock Hollis calls it tossing the hamburger around. And, well, quarterback Jacob Halama has tossed the hamburger around a little bit tonight, but primarily it's been run, run, run out of that vaunted double-wing T offense. It's been a staple of Torrance under Coach Hollis, and it's not anything they're going to deviate away from anytime soon. He says it's the great equalizer, a time killer of sorts, and it allows Torrance to be in games in which they have no business being in. He recalls a moment a couple of years ago where his team had a 12-minute drive, guys. 12 minutes. They were able to hold on to the football running this offense. Back up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn. 6-play drive, 55 yards, about 2 minutes. And actually 50 seconds, to be honest. And Bobby Wilson with a 15-yard run. PAT is good, and it's 34-0. Manigo runs the ball back to about his own 20-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10. Actually, the 25-yard line. Very hard to see the yard markers here.
More than a little bit.
So now we're waiting to get going. Chapman still at quarterback for the Cardinals. Done a good job tonight. Throws it out on the flat, and tackled immediately is Watkins. And he was zipped by Tyree Harris. So going to be a loss on the play, Rufus, of about 5 yards.
Which means if that pass had been dropped, it would have been a backward pass, which would have meant it was a live ball, could have gone the other way.
So 2nd down and 15. Clock rolling at 5:10. Chapman throws it to the near sideline.
Wow.
And that was a well-timed defensive play because that could have been called interference. Malik Brown mugging Richard Rivera.
And for the first time, Irvine near the play as well, number 30. See it on the replay here. You're right, that's Malik Brown. Irvine just in the vicinity. That defensive play is all Brown.
So good open field defense by the Tartars. They've been doing it gang style and in the open field. 5:05, clock stopped. Chapman sets the play in motion. Avoids a sack. Drops the ball,
loose.
picked up by Bobby
Wilson.
Wilson. Dances into
Wow.
the end zone. Touchdown, Torrance Tartars. 4:55 left to go in the 3rd.
And that was about looks like from here, about a 10-yard, somewhere between 10 and 15-yard fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Bobby Wilson.
That's his hat trick. That's 3 touchdowns for Bobby. We'll call it a 15-yard because the line of scrimmage was the 20. So Chapman was in the shotgun formation, so we'll call it 15-yard return. PAT attempt by Nash. Snap bad, spot good, kick is good. 4:45, 4:46 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 41-0. Tartars well in control of this one.
Well, and you're right, Lou, this is where you start to look for things to say and reasons to be optimistic. And I got to tell you, they're few and far in between right now if you are a Cardinal fan. Because at a moment when they were, in my estimation, Lou, still in the game when it was 19-0, now finding themselves down, having given up another 22 points, down 41-0. This is when, if you coach Mathieson, you really start experimenting with some other guys.
So Bobby Wilson's a wide receiver. He has a 10 and a 15-yard touchdown run, and then a fumble recovery touchdown. So Mr. Wilson needs his Dennis the Menace.
There you go. Well, and that's the question. Nobody's been a menace to him.
He's been a menace to the Cardinals. Squib kick by Kovacs. Ball is touched and picked up now by the Cardinals. Kristen Pellizer. With 3:51 left to go, clock is now rolling with a 40-point lead. And just to let the truck know, some of our cables have fallen in front of the press box doorway, so we need to get that repaired so no one injures themselves. Just as a public service of CityTV.
Right.
So the ball is marked at the 22-yard line, we'll call it. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Murray at quarterback. Throws it to the right side, caught. Nice catch by Austin Manigo. And he is tackled immediately by David Arrows, but not before a first down for the Cardinals. Watch this, Rufus. Beautiful pass.
And I was going to mention earlier, that was the thing. You remember I said, what was it we wanted Rashawn to get? And that was what class Murray is in, which we don't know.
There you go.
Maybe Rashawn will have a chance to get that for us. The other thing I just looked up, and you're right, the mercy rule kicks in at 35 points anywhere during the first 3 periods by mutual agreement. In the 4th period, if it's 35 points, it doesn't have to be an agreement. The official call invokes the mercy rule, and the clock runs except for timeouts and injuries, of course. And right now, with it being 41-0 here in the 3rd, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. It looks like we'll get to a 4th quarter mercy situation, mercifully, dare we say, for the Lawndale Cardinals.
Terrell is the halfback as Murray airs it out and has a man open, and Manigo just couldn't run underneath it. And I tell you what, Austin was on the way to go. Now, Terrell Williams, is that the running back, number 25?
Right.
So he's one of the underclassmen to come up. But so far, Chris Murray has shown us some good poise back there.
And
It's going to be a nice little quarterback war going on here at Lawndale High School.
Well, the war won't last long. It won't last but another week because Chapman is a senior. And assume that Murray is an underclassman, which means that with the playing time he's getting right now, it'll be his team to lead going into next season. At least that's the way training camp will start, one would assume.
Nice run by Chapman. Gets about 6 yards out of it, but it's still a 4th down situation.
And up a 4th and 4. I don't know. I wouldn't put my guys in this situation, Lou. They're at the 45-yard line. You know, to me, I'd kick it away and give my defense a shot. But Coach Mathieson thinks otherwise, and so they're going to go for it on the 4th and 5.
Well, I know his thinking. He wants to see what his guys can do in this situation. Murray back to pass, gets some nice protection. Going for Evans, fighting for position, and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. And some rough manhandling defense by Malik Brown.
Yeah, you got to think that. Let's look at the replay, fans. You're going to find a lot of the ball in the air. But once it comes down, and we didn't see it in the shot. Of course, the pass was out of bounds. I think that's what, Lou, influenced the side judge's decision, or the line judge, I should say, who is Clint Fronicola. Was that the pass was out of bounds. That ends the 3rd quarter, by the way. So we've got another 12 minutes. But here's the point. The pass sailed out of bounds. If it had stayed in bounds, it may have gotten a flag, but it was uncatchable, so you got to let that go.
Well, we've also seen some questionable calls on balls that went out of bounds, and the flags were thrown. So You got to call it both ways. But this officiating crew has been a very good crew tonight. And Rashawn is getting ready, so let's go down to him.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. And Lou, you'll like this. You know how in baseball they have their September call-ups. Well, here, Coach Mathieson has his October call-ups. He's called up a couple of freshmen, Omar Bellew, a wide receiver, and also two-way player Terrell Williams, who plays running back, defensive line, and also a linebacker as well. He says he'd rather develop the young guys as opposed to seniors with no effort. Now, with that being said, fellas, he said he will allow for these seniors to try to win their last couple of games. However, he wants to see what he has in these young guys. After all, these are going to be the players, the foundation for what he's trying to build here at Lawndale. Lou?
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn. The ball at the 50-yard line. And we're going backwards. We had a penalty. So it'll be first and 15 from their own 45-yard line. Kamala still in at quarterback. Pitch goes to Miller, and another good defensive push by the Cardinals. Going to call it a gain of 3, Rufus. Coming up off the bottom of the pile, Martin Ramirez and Ingerson Lambert. So a 3-yard gain.
Makes it a 2nd down and 11. Ball spotted at about the 40. Well, let's call it 2nd down and 12. Spotted about the 48-yard line. They need to get down to the 35. Of course, you know that math doesn't add up, so we'll say it was at the 47-yard line. But
well, let's see. Again, okay, that is the 50-yard line. They made it. That was 1st and 15 from the 50, not the 45.
Right.
So I apologize. And now in positive yardage territory, it'll be 3rd down and 9.
So an opportunity for the defense here. Lawndale defense, if they can come up with a stop.
They've done it before. Tight double wing formation. Double handoff going to Hurd. Hurd breaking tackles, but isn't going to get the first down, just inside the 40-yard line.
It'll be a 4th and 4 inside the 40. So good defense by the Cardinals that time. Got a Cardinal down, shaking up just a little bit on the field. Can't see who it is just yet. Now he gets a big number 55 for the Cardinals, and of course that's Joseph Casalino.
And he'll come off for a play at least. So 4th down, and is that a timeout? Maybe not. We'll see. At the we'll call it still at the call it the 39. Or is that close enough to the 40 where we'll call it the 40?
Well, it's on
You're
the other
official.
side of the 40. So technically you'd have to call it the 39 because it's already crested the 40-yard line. Are they going to kick it, or is this going to be one of those short snaps? No, they're going to kick away.
Skelton, or actually Kovacs, excuse me. Uh-oh, the ball hits the Cardinal player and it's fallen on by Miller. Hitting the ball, or having the ball touch him, was Joseph Caralla.
And
it's
just a
recovered by
turnover.
Miller.
And that's inside the 10-yard line. That we can see from is going to be about the 9. Let's look at it. First is away from it. Number 10 is Christian Coleman. Tries to make a play on it. You know, this kid trying to make something happen. Can't. Instead, though, causes a turnover, and Miller comes up with it. They're going to spot it at the inside the 10. So we call it the 9. And it's going to be 1st and goal.
With 8:25 left to go, clock running. We have a new quarterback, Vincent Huey, in a quarterback now. Ball is tossed, and look out. There goes the running back, and that is Arrow.
The ball somehow another's come out, and Lawndale has the ball.
Is that Manigo? Manigo is across the 50, the 40, the 30, the 10. Touchdown, Lawndale.
That's a 91-yard, presumably a fumble recovery by Manigo, at least 91 yards, because the line of scrimmage was the 9. The referee, Ken Smotrich, indicates touchdown. We survey the field, there are no flags, so that play will stand with 7:45 clock running here in the fourth on homecoming night. Manigo gets the Cardinals on the board. And we're going to look at, which we're watching live action, so we may need to see that replay again. We'll watch it all the way through on this play, but I'd love to go back and be able to see if we can see
Can we
what
re-rank
happened.
that, EC? Alcaraz
Okay,
will
one more
tack
time.
on the extra point. Let's wait. Okay, you watch that.
Okay. Wow.
Well, he already had it, so the ball
Yeah.
must have been fumbled somewhere at the snap. Between the
exactly.
snap and the pitch to Eros. Kick is high. It is no good. Wide to the right.
And he actually started that run. The one thing I see when I looked at it, he was pretty close to the goal line. So.
Okay, let's go to Rashawn real quick, Rufus. Let's see if we can get that replay
Guys,
later, too.
obviously, it's homecoming here for Lawndale, and this crowd behind me has been thirsty for something to cheer about so far tonight. Well, that 95-plus yard fumble return for a touchdown definitely got them excited, but just moments earlier, they were booing the home team and also calling them some names that I can't repeat on these airwaves, but they switched just like that momentarily, at least for now, this very second at least. They're happy, guys.
All right, Rashawn, thank you. Rashawn called it 95. I was a little more generous and put it at 98 because when I looked at him, he was virtually at the goal line.
Well, Eric, do we still have that replay? Can we see it one more time? All right, well, they're racking it up right now back there in the CityTV 31 truck. That means they have to put the tape in the spindle and rewind it and tighten it up, and there it is.
Okay, great. Showing it in reverse. That's what I like. First time on City TV to see that play in reverse. Somewhere in there, it comes, it obviously pops forward, and there you go. The man to go with the play.
That's
the reverse angle.
Gotta love it.
City TV, man, hadn't seen that one. Well, they decide not to onside kick it, but one of the up men comes up with it.
Nash. 5:10, clock rolling, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tartars. Well,
man, I'm still amazed at, wow, two things. We see a 98-yard run by Manigo, and then we see a reverse angle replay. You don't often get that in the same day, Lou.
No,
You might get one day and one the other day. Only on City TV do you get it back to back on the same day.
It's a great day. And a full moon rising. Double wing formation. Huey at the quarterback. Pitch. And goes up. Forward progress. Going to call it about a 5-yard gain.
Watkins comes up with the ball. Official indicates, yeah, but had already whistled it down, so that won't count.
Just trying to see which, I believe that was Bailey Bezovich, number 40 could be.
Is that who it was? You were looking for him? Okay, I'll go with that. I was looking to try to see. I know they had talked about the possibility of giving Irvine a few snaps on offense.
Double wing formation again. Elijah Jones, a sophomore running back this time, gains 2.
3:35 left in the contest. Clock continues to run as we are in and will be in a running clock situation until this one concludes.
So the Cardinals and their fans have something to cheer about on homecoming night. Austin Manigo with a long touchdown of a fumble recovery. 98, we're going to call it. Handoff goes to the fullback, and good job of tackling, but I might be a little bit too late first down yardage, just barely for the running back, Dane Dilthey, a junior. And that's just barely enough for a first down at the 50-yard line.
Barely is all you need. Of course, that's all they got. But again, the first down will keep the ball in their possession, keeps the drive alive. Clock continues to run. Now we're at 2:30, clock running. Another fantastic homecoming celebration, although the outcome of the game not quite what the Cardinal fan had hoped for. But as Rayshawn said, just to repeat it, they did get at least a moment of joy and a moment of excitement. And for Austin Manigo, something that he'll remember for a long time to come. Of course, he's got some more football left in him, Lou, because he's only a sophomore.
That's right. Tyree Harris on the run gets about 4 yards. The 46 got a Chris Brownlee story tonight with a Lawndale Torrance connection. Pitch from Huey back to the running back, Aziz Muhammad, and Aziz gets pushed back by the Cardinal defense. And in there, the number 84, he's a big basketball-looking player, or type player.
Yep.
But Chris Brownlee's dad, Ed, coached Rock Hollis in high school. I would imagine Ed was a teenage coach.
Yeah, because you got to figure that was a while back. And then you add to that another story. Coach Keith Norman, who's been around these South Bay programs for a long time, been a part of things over at Lusinger, been a part of things at Hawthorne, as well as his daughter's a student over here at Lawndale on the basketball team. He's in charge now of the girls basketball program. So he's back in the coaching after a 10-year layoff, and he's excited about it. We had a great talk, and he's looking forward to basketball season himself. Another hope to be featured guest on Coach's Clipboard as we move toward the basketball season.
Can't
in
wait.
Just a few more weeks.
It's my second favorite show on City TV. This is going to be the final play, Rufus. Huey, genuflex with the ball. 25 seconds left to go after the 10-yard first down run by Tyree Harris, who's come on, and boy, the future sure looks bright, even though Rock Hollis kind of downplayed it when we talked to him for these Torrance Tartars.
And of course, this win tonight gives them their 3 wins that they need to at least be in a position to petition for a playoff spot. And if we look at the rest of their schedule, first of all, let's look at Lawndale's schedule, as the final is 41-6 in favor of the Torrance Tartars. Lawndale next week has Compton Centennial. That's a pretty good matchup. That gives them another shot at it. On the other hand, Torrance will face North Torrance at home. So that'll help out a little bit. And we were talking about the Pioneer League standings. Need to try to find that again to see. Okay, here we are. North right now at the top of the league with 3-0. Not sure how they did tonight, but Torrance certainly with an opportunity going up 3-1 tonight will have a shot for at least a share of the Pioneer League title next week when they play the division-leading North Torrance Saxons.
That should be a terrific ball game. Coach Brownlee shaking our hands as he walks off, and we told the story about Ed and Rock, and that how Ed must have been a teenage coach. You got to pass that on. All right, and we're going to go into our post-game show, but Rufus, what do you take away from this one? An impressive win for the Tartars, and maybe a big confidence builder for their team, and also a chance to get some players in and do some plays for the other players as they got out of that wing T formation for a while until the start of it was a little bit lackadaisical for Rock Hollis, I'm sure. So he said, let's go back to our basic wing T and get things going again.
Well, the first thing we take away is that I'm only 50-50. I'm about as good as a palm reader when it comes to predicting who's going to win. I really and truly, in my analysis leading up to the game, thought that Lawndale had a better shot. at winning this game than what the score indicates. Having said that, though, you're right. The South team has shown that they are a good, solid football squad. And looks like we've got Rashawn ready with Coach Mathieson. So, okay, he's not ready yet. So let me just finish the comment. The other side of the equation, which I'm sure he'll talk to Coach about, is that Lawndale has to look toward the future. So let's go down to Rashawn Haylock.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I'm down here with Coach Mathieson. Coach, I know you said you wanted to get a look at some of the younger guys. You saw Chris play a little bit. Terrell got in there a little bit. What'd you think about those guys tonight?
If there's a bright spot to take out of tonight, it's definitely the play of some of my young guys. Besides Chris, coming in there, showing a lot of poise. He's got a lot of stuff that you really can't coach. So he's got a lot of tools that are in place. He's going to be a phenomenal athlete. Terrell, big, physical, doesn't got the height, but he's got that blocky build. He's going to be a great fullback. Amaro got in there a little bit. He's going to be a threat down the road. But some of the other youngsters, Christian Coleman, sophomore, number 10, small guy again, but played physical towards the end, always plays hard. Austin Manigo, number 9, another sophomore. This was a little bit of boys against men here. I mean, they saw this is a well-polished, well-put-together team. You can see that the off-season work they put in definitely pays off. These guys are still learning what it takes to be a part of a football program, not just in the fall, but year-round. And, hopefully a lot of these young guys learn that lesson tonight, and they can start putting that together, as soon as this season's over. I hate looking ahead. We still got one game left. I always believe we can win games. But if there's a bright spot I could take away, it's the play of these young players tonight.
And Manigo had that fumble return for a touchdown that got Lawndale on the board here in this fourth quarter. And Coach, can you explain to the viewers at home, if you can, just how difficult it is facing an offense like this? Because it seems simple. It seems like a lot of run, but like you said, well-oiled machine. They do it well.
I mean, you look at some of the best high school teams in California. They're not all spread offenses. They're not all Santa Margaritas and Vista Muretas. And you look at De La Salle. You look at a team like Torrance that goes deep in CIF. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It really changes what you got to do during the week. There's no real defensive scheme designed specifically for this. You run your base defenses, whatever it may be, odd front, even front. Your week of practice is completely different for a wing team than it is against anybody else. You play a South Power I team, you play a Centennial who's a spread or even a Power I. It's still your defense, you make your slight adjustments, but whenever you play that wing T or that double wing, it really changes what you have to do during a week. You've got to teach a scout team how to run those plays properly to really give your defense a look. Because there's nothing like, seeing 3 guys pulling from one side to the other side, and you think there'd be open spaces and guys to run through, but when you run it as well as they do, if you're not prepared, this is what happens.
Hey, last thing for you, Coach. I know you got to get to your guys. We spoke before the game. You said this season, your first season here at Lawndale, hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad at all. You got another week to go after a first league win here this week. What do you take away from tonight and hopefully into next week?
Like I said, the bright spot tonight was the play of the young guys. Now, if we can just get a full supporting cast, one of the big things I saw right away from these guys was the play of not a lot of guys. You'd see 3, 4, maybe 5 guys playing hard, and everyone else is expecting them to make the big plays. If we can find 11 guys to put on that field and play hard, this is going to be a pretty good ball club. But right now it's finding that right chemistry and finding that right combination of guys to get on the field. Week 9, week 10, it's a little late, but we can never give up on finding what could be that right chemistry, what can make these guys, what's going to give me 11 good, solid guys on the field.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for stopping. That's Coach Rick Mathieson. Lawndale, of course, falling tonight 0-4 in Pioneer League play. This Torrance team over on this sideline here, very good team. They were rated number 1 in their division in CIF heading into this season. Obviously had some rough goings in the non-league, but they've definitely shored things up here in Pioneer League play. And now they're setting themselves up for a league championship showdown next week against North Torrance. And Rufus, you and I saw that North Torrance team here on this very field a couple of weeks ago. Tough. You talk about one of the greatest shows on turf here in the South Bay. Doesn't get much better than that Saxons team, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn Haylock. A terrific job as always with the head coach of the Cardinals, and he was correct. The young kids did show their stripes or earned some stripes tonight in this 41-6 loss.
They certainly did, and That's what it's all about for them. They understand that it's about the future. First-year coach, a bunch of young guys. Future does look bright. Again, they've tripled their wins from last season already. 1 win last year, 3 this year. So some good things have happened for the Cardinals, and some stars are starting to emerge.
And also, we did get word that El Segundo was defeated by Compton Centennial tonight. So actually some good news there as the race tightens up, and some good news for the Tartars as well. But it's time now to pick our player of the game and our tip of the hat player of the game. And who is going to get our player of the game nod?
Well, you know, since we acknowledge our teams that we cover, in this case it'd be Lawndale, the bright spot was Austin Manigo's.
That's right.
95, 96, 97, whatever you want to call it, fumble return for a touchdown. Which
95
really,
plus. How about
95 plus, which really got the crowd back into it. And I think actually gave them a little something to feel good about leaving out of here. So for my money, it's Austin Manigo.
All right, and our tip of the hat?
Wow, that's even tougher because now you got to dig even deeper. Boy, tip of the hat.
I like Ryan Alexander.
You know what? He was in on a lot of plays. So, Ryan, Lou's called it. You get the tip of the hat award tonight. Ryan Alexander, number 15, for his outstanding defensive play for the Lawndale Cardinals.
And what a beautiful brim that is, too. All right, Rufus, thanks a lot. Homecoming was a success tonight, and we will see you coming around the corner. And again, from Lawndale High School, the Cardinals go down on homecoming night to the Torrance Tartars 41-6. For Rufus Washington, Rashawn Haylock, and the terrific City TV 31 crew, I'm Lou Stowers saying so long.